Hey y'all, I'm Alex of Swamp Rat Fishing, and today we're going to break down pedal versus paddle kayaks. Stay tuned. All right, good to see you folks. Tonight we're going to break down pedal versus paddle kayaks. Difference, pros, cons between them. We're just going to break from there. But before we start, like we always do, let's crack that cold beverage. All right, so I'm sure with the holidays coming up, a lot of people are going to be thinking about possibly upgrading a kayak, getting a kayak for the first time. Either one, and the big two players on the market are going to be your paddle and your pedal. So just a little background, I've been kayak fishing for about 4.5 years now, and I did start in a paddle kayak, the Ascend 10T. It was a great boat, it was awesome. I love that thing, brought me to the sport, I love it. And then this year in April 2020, I upgraded to the Oldtown TopWater 120 PDL. So 2 extra feet long and a PDL system, definitely different. So just to break them down, obviously a lot of people are going to say right away that pedal kayaks are the way to go. Start with that, just go right with that. And I can totally see the upside to that. Pedal kayaks are great. You can get to spots faster, a lot faster. Some of the other advantages of it is an instant reverse. Now, not all kayaks or pedal kayaks have instant reverse. The Oldtown PDL does. And I'll tell you what, that is excellent for when you're sitting on a spot, you hook into a fish, instantly being able to reverse. One, it's going to help you pull that fish out of cover. It's going to help you keep that tension. Because if you guys haven't kayak fished before, anytime you're on a kayak, you're instantly giving up a ton of leverage. So being able to kind of play that fish back out, you're not going to spook anything else that's in there. It's excellent. Getting to the spots, they're most of these boats, the pedal ones are, especially the mid-range ones, they have so many wonderful features. Not saying that those aren't on the paddle kayaks, because they definitely are, but almost every mid-range pedal kayak is going to have great angler-centric features. So that's awesome. And again, being able to jump from spot to spot, you can cover a lot more water. It's great. But there are some downsides to a pedal kayak that a paddle kayak definitely excels in. So stealth is one of them. Even though you're not running a big trolling motor, an electric motor, any of that, I mean, you are still turning something. You're still pushing something. So being able to paddle can be a lot more stealthy. I think a big one with them too is weight. So just bear with me here while I pull up some numbers here real quick. The weight, so the Ascend, that's what I started with, 10-foot boat. It was 67 pounds. And I car top my kayaks. I don't have a truck. I don't have a trailer either. So I car top. 67 pounds isn't that bad to throw up on top. While when I went to the 120, even without the drive in it, it's 82 pounds. It's almost 20 pounds heavier. Now there's ways to mitigate that, and I'll probably show that in another video, how I load the TopWater 120 onto my SUV. But the weight's definitely an issue. If that's a problem, where you're not gonna be able to push that stuff, lift that weight up over your head, I could totally see that. The big one, I think, is price as well. So price, I think, is really the barrier for most folks. I mean, we're talking about the Ascend, when I bought it, was $460. And that's still what it retails now. It's $460. The Oldtown that I bought in April was $2,200. Definitely way different in price. And even if you go to some of these cheaper ones, if you get the Hobie Passport, that's $1,600. Now there's some newer companies coming out. I don't know about them at all, but there's the Riot Kayak Mako 12. That's only $1,000, and that's a pedal kayak. I mean, maybe you could try those, but for your mid-range, it's about $2,000+ plus. And then you can go all the way to the top. The Hobies, The Hobie PA14 is $3,900. That's an insane amount of money for a kayak. Not saying, I mean, if you got the money to spend for it, absolutely. That boat looks like it's a dream. I can't afford it, but I know guys that have it. And maybe one day I'll upgrade to it, but I mean, price can definitely be a thing. And even on the paddle boats, there's some price differences in there. There's the Ascend only paid $464, but I know a lot of people are recommended the Vibe Sea Ghost. And I think that boat looks phenomenal. That's a great paddle. And that one runs about $1,000. So, but price in general, your paddles are going to be a lot cheaper. You can even go to Walmart, get a special. I'm not going to be one of those guys that say like, hey, get the most expensive right away. And I know a lot of people say that, but I especially think when you first start out, you should try to get as much as you can get, as much boat as you can get for whatever your budget is. So if your budget's only $500, then that Ascend paddle is perfect for you. So I think that's a great option. And then, I mean, so the problem, we already talked about it, the problem with the paddle boats compared to the pedaling boats is the distance, also is the hands-free. So when you're sitting there paddling, I mean, you're gonna have to hold the paddle kind of at your waist, and then you've got your rod in the other hand, then you have to readjust using a pedal drive. That's all kind of done with one hand, if not no hands. So a lot of that's a lot easier to do in the pedal kayak than it is the paddle kayak. So the draft's a big thing. So depending on what pedal kayak you get, no matter what, you're not going to be able to get as shallow as a paddle kayak. Paddle kayaks, I would bring that Ascend right up into a lily pad field. You can just coast right up in there. You'll be good to go. That's a little more difficult in a pedal kayak. So, like, I don't want people to think that the pedal kayak is the end all be all, because I don't think it is. I think each one has their place on the market and definitely their place within your fishing game. So hope that was informative, kind of breaking it down. I guess the final verdict would be, if you had the money, I would say get a pedal kayak. That Oldtown is $2,200 if you can swing that. If not, there's nothing wrong with getting a paddle kayak either. Like, you'll be just fine. Plenty of dudes smoke me in a paddle kayak. It's not the kayak that makes the fisherman. It's definitely the fisherman. So I hope that was informative. Just kind of my thoughts, breaking it down. Let me know if you guys like to see this stuff. Definitely subscribe, hit the like button, do all that bell notification stuff, whatever you got to do. But I thank you guys for joining in. You guys have a good one.